Hey, what's up? It's Tati and I'm back with another review of AEW Dynamite. You guys, we finally got that Jay Briscoe tribute that we should have had Wednesday night. I'm not going to go ahead and dwell on that. They actually made it right tonight, so I'm very excited. Oh my god, it was so emotional for the main event. It was a very, very great show. We started off the night with Action Andretti, Ricky Starks versus Chris Jericho and Sammy. Now, this was actually a great match, and one thing I want to point out is that for the majority of the match, we did have Sammy and Action Andretti going at it, I think, for the most part in this match. And they have really great chemistry together in the ring. I would say that I would love to see them have a singles match against each other. However, I felt like we really got to see a lot of that during this match. Even though they did have partners, this match was them for the most part. Now, I really did enjoy this match. It was a great start to the show. I did enjoy it. However, for whatever reason, I didn't see this coming. There's been like some issues with Daniel Garcia and Sammy, and I was not expecting to see Daniel help them win. He ends up hitting Action Andretti with a bat, and Sammy takes the cover and the win. I'm interested to see where they're going with this storyline. I'm still a little bit over of Jericho Appreciation Society. However, I still feel like Chris Jericho, he's doing a really great job trying to get these younger talent over. And I know that's a part of a big reason why he's still active as a wrestler. I do believe he believes in the AEW talent, and what better way to get these kids to get over than with having a legend like Chris Jericho working with them in the ring. So this was a great match. Definitely recommend watching this match. So right after that match, we do have Darby Allin versus Buddy Matthews. I was expecting to see this a little bit later on in the night. However, they got it to be the second match. This match here, well, so between the two guys, they did a really great job. I was expecting to see some interference from the House of Black. Now, at one point, the House of Black did come out, and they did not physically get involved in this match. We did have Sting and Ortiz. They both ended up attacking these guys, wanted to make sure that they would not get involved so this can be a fair fight. Now, to be fair, Darby Allin, he really put up a great fight. This guy is absolutely nuts. He does so much in the ring, and then he does all this stupid stunt shit outside of the ring. Like, he doesn't give his body any time to breathe, and he's just coming from Japan with tagging with the Great Muta and Sting. And I did see that match. I have some complaints about it, but we're not here for that. So it wasn't bad or anything. I really did enjoy this match. Darby definitely has been really consistent with these matches ever since he did get the TNT title, as well as, going to Japan. So he's been really working and putting his body out on the line. This was a great match between these guys. Now, I did not enjoy the finisher. We did have Buddy Matthews hanging over the rope, the middle of the rope, and Darby does a coffin drop onto his back. And I just felt like I just wouldn't have ended it that way. These two really put a lot into this match, and the finisher just didn't feel like that was the right move to go. Anyway, Darby ends up retaining the title, and just when Tony Schiavone comes out to do little celebrations or whatever, Darby can barely stand up. Ref is holding him up, and before he can even say a word, here comes Samoa Joe, and he's backstage, and he has feelings about Darby being the one to take the title from him, and he's like, someone like Darby should have never been able to take the title from him, and basically letting him know that you better be on notice. Like, I'm coming after that title, whether if you're in good shape or not. To be completely honest, I would not be surprised if Samoa Joe ends up getting this title back. Darby, he's working really hard, but he's such a young guy, and he's putting his body through so much. I wouldn't be surprised if he has any legit injuries going forward, but I'm interested to see where Samoa Joe is going with this. He's a pretty interesting character. So right after that, we had Jungle Hook versus Ethan Page and Matt Hardy. And to be honest, this match I thought was going to be a little bit better than what it was. I do like Hook and Jungle Boy as partners. I never thought I'd wanted to see them be partners, but I think they actually work well together. And given enough experience with the two in the ring, you know, they might be something to look out for. What I don't like is Matt Hardy, Ethan Page. Their storyline is so freaking weird, and to be honest, it's like them having issues is affecting how they perform in the ring. They're great in the ring, but if they could like be beefing but still be great together, like how we had Swerve in Our Glory, they had issues but they were really great as a team. I wish it was the same kind of dynamic with these two. I just feel like the storyline is so strange, and it's just getting in the way because they're constantly playing that that thing where Ethan is above them and it's just not really working for me. I think it takes away a little bit from the match. The match could have been a little bit better had it not been for that. I still believe that somewhere down the line this year that Ethan will be able to have like a breakout moments as a single competitor. But as far as being part of a faction or anything like that, he is not gonna excel there. We do have Jungle Hook getting the win. I think that was the right way to go. Right after that, we had the Acclaim and the Guns Family Therapy. Now, was it a little cheesy and not all that? Sure, that's pro wrestling for you. However, I do love the fact that they played on how Billy was, you know, a wrestler while they were growing up, and he was gone majority of the year, so he didn't really play a huge father role in their life. That would be true in a way because he's not there, but how bad that affected them, we really don't know that in real life. But if they go with this angle, I really think that will work out for the Guns. So I love it when they incorporate real life things into these storylines. It just feels much more real, and that's something that I really enjoy. Now, you know, Billy being with the Acclaim, it's a match made in heaven. I don't even know how that, I don't even remember how that even came about, but it works, and they're over as fuck and everybody enjoys them. I don't want to see them sitting down doing family therapy. You got gold, you need to be defending it, and that's what I want to see. I don't remember if they announced something for next week or for Rampage, but I think I saw something with them having a match maybe on Rampage or on Dynamite next week. It's about time. They haven't really been in the ring as much. Now, right after that, we have Renee Paquette, and she's interviewing Hangman, and Hangman is basically saying he wants to go against Moxley one more time on Dynamite. And then out of the blue, Wheeler Yuta just comes out and he's like, yeah, Moxley accepts. And I was like, oh, okay, did Moxley just call and tell him I said yes? Like, it was kind of weird. But then he's like, you know what? I want to face you on Rampage. I want to whoop your ass. And to be honest, if he wins or lose, I really hope he puts a nice beat down on Hangman. I'm not really sold on Hangman at this point. I think he got a lot of convincing to do before I am, you know, going to be like a fan of his. He just doesn't do it for me. However, I would be interested in seeing these guys go again next week on Dynamite. Moxley, he's done such a great job lately. Out of the two, I believe they're 1-1, so this third one, whoever wins that match will have one up against the other. So it'll be interesting to see that, but definitely want to see Wheeler whoop his ass on Dynamite. Up next, we have Bryan Danielson versus the Machine, Brian Cage. Now, this match here, it wasn't about Bryan winning. It was about him doing exactly what MJF wanted him to do. Now, for the first time, I realized tonight that anyone who has ROH Gold aside from Samoa Joe, has actually finally been walking around with them. So we have not seen Brian Cage with the 6-man tag title since he won it. So he's been coming out the ring with no gold. I felt like that was just really, really weird that they would do that. This is the first time, I believe, since he won it that he's actually had it around his waist, participating in an AEW show. I still feel like, regardless if they are not doing anything with ROH in between the pay-per-views, they should still be wearing that gold. You won it, why not, Anyway, the match was great. I'm gonna say this, it wasn't as great as the other 2 matches with Bandito and also Konosuke Takeshita. However, people would not probably take Brian Cage seriously because he's more of a bigger dude, but he can hang with somebody like Bryan Danielson. He's bigger, but he moves very well in the ring. He's very agile and he's quick, so I do like seeing him perform, and he should have more opportunities in the ring. Unfortunately, with holding the 6-man tag gold, I felt like we weren't going to see much of him, and they're already talking about his contract being up in, like, I don't know, a couple of weeks or so. I do want to see him continue to work with AEW and ROH, because he's a really great competitor. Now, he did a really great job in this match, but I felt like the agenda really for him is to hurt Bryan Danielson. He got paid for it, so why not? We do see him repeatedly hurting, I want to say it was Bryan's left arm and shoulder, and he kept going after that throughout the whole match. Obviously, Bryan Danielson gets the win. However, right after that, they continue this beatdown. MJF comes out and grabs a chair from the timekeeper, like literally like threw him aside so he can get that chair, and they're working on this arm. They really want to hurt Bryan Danielson. Like, they don't want him to be fresh at all coming into Revolution, which is still a little bit more than a month away. And I counted about 4 minutes of this going on. The whole time I'm sitting there like, where's the boys? Why isn't BCC coming out? Like, who is going to help Bryan Danielson? And then we have Konosuke Takeshita that comes out to help Bryan Danielson. And to be completely honest, at first I was like, what the fuck? Why isn't the BCC here? And then I forgot that there was a moment, I want to say it was last week, where Konosuke was like, he vows to protect Bryan Danielson, like he got his back. And I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, you know what? This whole thing isn't about the BCC coming out to help. This is more about them moving forward with Takeshita in this storyline. So I think it would be better that he had came out on his own. Maybe we'll see Takeshita versus MJF before Revolution. I do feel like we might see Takeshita versus Brian Cage, because they did have some exchanges in the ring, because you already know MJF took his shit and he went straight to the back. So we might see those two in the ring, but I think they're playing for it to be something much more with Takeshita. So I feel like if BCC came out, it probably would not have had the same effect, but I don't know. So now we have Bryan backstage. He is like asking the doctor, hey, can I wrestle? Can I keep going? Like, am I that injured? But even though he's asking that, and the doctor is saying, yeah, you're injured, I think you should not wrestle, Bryan's like, fuck it, I'm not taking your advice. This is what I do. This is what I do best. And I'm going to go back out there and wrestle. And sure enough, he's going to be back to wrestle next week. Definitely interested to see how they're going to move along with this whole thing, especially with Bryan hurting. But by the time he gets to Revolution, y'all, he is going to be beat the fuck up. He's going to make it through that Iron Man match, but I don't see him winning that. Not at all. Up next, we have Ruby Soho versus Toni Storm. Now, they did advertise that Britt Baker would also be part of this match. However, they stated that she was injured and could not compete. So we had Ruby and Toni in the ring. I think they did a great job. I do feel that Toni was pretty much in control for a majority of this match. And you start seeing that heel side come out more. I kind of forgot about the whole storyline thing, but then the commentators were talking about it, and to be completely honest, they're like trashing the whole storyline on commentary. I'm like, damn, should they do that? But then at the same time, I kind of agreed with them. Like, it just felt like it's just unnecessary, and what mattered is what they were doing in the ring, not where they came from and all that shit. It's kind of weird and cringy to me, but whatever. So the match wasn't bad. We do have Toni pretending that she was injured, and her and Ruby having history together. Ruby kind of feels a little bit some type of way, thinking, oh my god, I hurt her, and she's all concerned. And then that's when Toni capitalized on that moment. So basically she fell for her little tricks. Now we did have Britt Baker music play, and at first I thought it was just for distraction, but she actually comes out and that distracts Toni Storm, and Ruby's like, fuck it, I'll just go for the win, and hits a destination unknown, and 1 2 3 Ruby wins. This whole storyline thing, I'm over it, and it barely begun. Let's move on to the main event. Alright, y'all, it is main event time, and it is Mark Briscoe versus Jay Lethal. This match was announced yesterday. I was shocked. I was really surprised to hear about this. Well, was it yesterday or Monday? Well, one of the two. I was really surprised to hear about this. They both requested that that's what they wanted to do, so it's not like someone say, hey, get your ass in the ring and wrestle. This is what they both agreed to do. They did have like 2 video package of Jay on the show prior to that match, so one in the beginning and I think maybe one before the main event. It was nicely done. I love how they showed that not only he was a wrestler, but you know, just a human being, a father, a husband, a brother, a son, someone that people cared about. It was just absolutely done right. I know they wanted to do this last week, but for whatever reason couldn't get that done, and everything was done absolutely beautifully tonight. I was so emotional. Like, I'm literally trying not to burst out into tears watching this. We have Jay Lethal come out first, and the second he comes out, he's already crying. And then we had Sanjay, who consoled him before he went down to the ring. I think the moment that really got me and maybe other people was when Mark Briscoe came out with the ROH tag titles. And what makes that emotional is the fact that he was holding both of them. And obviously tag team wrestling is you and a partner, and to know that his partner, his best friend, his brother, blood brother, will no longer ever be able to defend that with him. That shit made it fucking real at that moment, because you're like, shit, he's really, really gone. Just seeing Mark holding Jay's title too. Now, maybe y'all might look at me like a big baby or whatever, but pro wrestling is so important to me. It affects me in a positive way, where it's been my safe place. It's been my, like, that thing I go to when I'm in a dark place. It's always been there for me. So when professional wrestlers pass away, I feel like I lost somebody important to me too. Like, sometimes wrestlers may not understand what a big role that they can play into fans' lives. And you know, if you go back to any of my videos that I mentioned, the Briscoes, I really felt like they did absolutely amazing last year, and I really was expecting huge things from them for 2023, and you know, unfortunately that didn't happen. Now, this was a great match. We've seen Jay, we've seen the Briscoes together in the ring, so we know that they can perform really well. I think the thing was that people might have been concerned about was how they were going to mentally get through this, because you did see especially Jay Lethal look like, you know, he was crying before the match, and maybe some spots too he seemed really emotional. Mark, it was a little bit more difficult to see the emotions and whatnot, but both of their heads were in this match completely, and they did a really, really great job with this match. I love how they ended this match with the J Driver, which was Jay Briscoe's finisher, and that was just the perfect way to end this, and it was absolutely great. The crowd was feeling it, everybody was emotional, all the chants and everything. And after the match, we even had the whole locker room come out and support, and we had the picture of Jay Briscoe in the background. So it was done absolutely wonderful, and this is exactly what the fans wanted last week. And whoever call it was that just was like, no, this is not happening, is absolutely ridiculous. But I enjoyed this show and this tribute for Jay so much. However, this is not the tribute show for Jay. They do have the tribute show, I believe, coming out today, so you can catch it on the ROH Honor Club. That will be for free whether you are a member or not, and then also on YouTube as well. I don't know if it's AEW's YouTube channel or ROH. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it will be on YouTube to watch as well. They do have a t-shirt with Jay Briscoe on it that you can buy, and 100% of the proceeds do go to the family. I know they raised a lot of money, but these poor babies have had really horrible injuries from this accident, so anything that could possibly help buying the shirt or donating to their crowdfunding thing that they got going on, whichever way you can support, you know, if you can, I just say go for it. It was a really great episode of Dynamite. I'll be back later on with the review for the Jay Briscoe tribute show. Thanks for watching my review.